right, can't say enough. So, how about the next word? I now would like to invite Shelley Stanton and Nick Rewerts, Diane's children, to introduce the 2017 UM Western Hall of Fame recipient, Diane Rewerts.
Here a little bit. Nick didn't know that either. So we got to shake it up. We're going to do a think, pair, share. Right now, you have 5 seconds to think of your very favorite teacher ever. Ready, go. Okay, turn to your neighbor and just say their name. Okay, you can't tell a story about it. I'm sorry, but you have it in your head, right? Okay, so now you're going to add a piano and a heart that's like 5,000 times bigger, and you have my mom. So, yeah, don't you feel bad you didn't get her? Anyways, yeah, we are so thrilled to introduce our mom. Today on the way up here, I was kind of working on the speech, and I checked out the new mascot of Western. And I thought, when I read it, oh my gosh, this is not only every educator I know, but it exemplifies who my mom is. When they made the new mascot for Western, do you guys know what words they had the designers use? Should I quiz you? Would you like to share? Courage. Courage? I didn't know that one. I like that. Courage, determination, intensity, fearlessness, proud, unique, engaging, and memorable. And when I saw those words about the new Western mascot, I was like, heck, that's our mom. And it's going to be really, really hard for us to condense, just like all of you have said, almost 40 years into just a few minutes. But as we go, I hope you know that my mom has the most amazing spirit of a bulldog of any teacher I know. So I'm going to let my brother talk about the first decade.
All right, the first decade was from 1979 to 1989. Starts in
In education. She was born before that. She is hot, we know, but she was born
in education. She graduated from Western in 1979. During her time...
Elementary education.
Elementary education. I'm glad she's here. During her time at Western, she was very busy. Our mom worked at the Lion's Den. She accompanied the many different musical groups that were here.
Right here on this stage.
On this stage. Not only that, she had to carry her around a lot of this time, and followed my father to many sporting events. I should say a lot about her to stay with my father.
Yeah.
Today,
unique. She is unique to be married to my dad 41 years today.
Today. Is there any question? After graduation, getting out of Western, both our parents headed to Knoxon, where my mom took her first teaching job. Yeah. And I was born in Knoxon in the first year, correct? So now she had her hands even fuller. She's a full-time teacher, had both of us, and still dealing with my dad. They then moved to Libby, where they both started their education in Libby at Libby Public Schools, where she shared her amazing practice with grades 4, 5, 6, and as a music teacher. Through this generation, my sister's favorite memory of my mom is sitting in her music classes, practicing and learning the song
Banana Fana Fofana, to learn the vowels. Do you guys remember that one? Yeah, loved it.
And she would also bring the Star Planetarium to our school every year, and this was a pretty famous between the kids.
Community. Yeah.
My favorite memory of my mom during this time, it doesn't have to do with school because I wasn't quite there yet, but was our road trips. We traveled a lot as a family to go see family, to follow my dad's basketball teams around, to go to the lake, whatever it was. And on our road trips, especially when Dad wasn't there, we practiced singing. And this was something that she really tried to get in us, and this might be her only failure as an educator.
So we're going to condense again a whole decade down, but from 1989 to 1999, when I look back at my mom's career, well, first, her tenacity with our family during that time. She graduated both of us from high school, which was not always easy in my case. I was kind of a little brat sometimes. And I graduated college, so her tenacity to get us through all of that. But also she transformed from a teacher to a teacher leader. And looking at you new stars, I'm so excited to see how you guys become teacher leaders. And I don't necessarily mean a administration. What I mean is she became our association union president. She became our insurance expert, and that's the first time where I realized my mom had a bulldog spirit, is when she would take on that super difficult insurance stuff so that all of our teachers understood it and had the coverage that they needed. And then also, she was able to get insurance plans for our entire region and our district so that our teachers can have good coverage. She also served on all sorts of curriculum teams, which you guys will get to do, math, ELA, and science. She really excelled in science. That Star Planetarium was just amazing. She also had every boy I ever date have a crush on her during this decade. All of them, which was cool. But I think the reason they had a crush on her is because of her amazing heart and her ability to sing and play the piano. My most memorable thought of my mom during this decade was when I served as her assistant teacher when I was in high school. I was horrible at it, horrible. But I remember watching the love that my mom's students had for her and how they were engaged in their expectations, or my mom's expectations were being met by how she was developing such amazing lessons. And I was a high schooler at the time, and I would rather sit in her class than be in my high school classroom because she was such a fun and engaging teacher. And my brother had a very similar memory because he was in 4th grade at this time, so out on the playground, all of his friends were in my mom's class and talking about all the cool stuff. And Nick was like, dang, I wish I could be in my mom's class because we're reading from the textbook. Or something similar.
From the years 99 to 2010, I graduated in 1999, so I came down to Western and joined my parents' alma mater.
Oh, we sort of missed that. Western is sort of important to us because not only did our grandparents go here, but several aunts and uncles, cousins, and this guy also went to Western. We think Western's awesome.
We have a long family tradition here. There's not too many bad stories of anybody from it, so it's been good. Well, those are good stories.
Okay.
And I think that's a testament to my mom. The way she carries herself in education, and she molded the importance of it into us. My sister and I are both now in education, and a lot of it has to do with the way she took it so serious and she worked so hard at it and the rewards from it. Every day when I go to school, I have a student come to me and say, my mom or dad had your mom, and she's our best teacher. And it's just amazing how it always continues. During this time professionally, our mom considered to excel and started sharing her gifts with the Office of Public Instruction, as part of their school improvement team working throughout the state. She served as the leadership group with the University of Montana for math and science. These were just a few of the big things she did outside of the classroom. And they also go with her teaching full-time 5th, 6th grade and many other community events, the musicals.
Yeah, the musicals. That, I actually Facebooked out just, we know what Facebook is. And we had within an hour like 127 likes and over 20 comments, and almost all of them were about the musicals and the experience the kids remember from those musicals.
And that was a big loss when she left Libby. My parents sold their house a few years ago and moved away, and that was the biggest concern I got from parents, is who's going to do the musical. How's it going to work? And so that was pretty neat. Shelly's fondest memory during this time were her mom as a mentor. This is when my sister came back and started teaching in Libby as her first teaching job. She entered the classroom. She was her #1 mentor and guided her not only in education, but also becoming a mom, because now our mom is a grandma, and that was a big step in her life. My fondest memory during this time was something not many moms did. Moms and sons have ever got to do. I don't know if she realized how important this was, but she did something that I don't know if any mom wants to do. She became my teaching partner in my first teaching job. And so she kind of guided me through. But she instilled things in me that has made me become successful in one of the hardest jobs in the country. Teaching's hard to do, and without her ability to motivate me and show me how important it is, I don't think I'd still be doing it, because it's not easy.
I know, it's like the song we had at the beginning of about climbing the mountain, and every time you get on top of one mountain, there's another mountain. I thought of my mom during the whole song, but also as a teacher, that's what it's like. It's never ending. But in this last decade, okay, do we need another pair share? You guys are, or just quiet, that was intense. Yeah, she is amazing, and it was really cool to watch her partner with Nick. It was very cool. It was fun.
I think she was really stressed there for Christmas.
And then, you know, in the last decade, I think is when she's climbed the most mountains, and I got to admire her the most. So at the ripe age of like maybe, I don't know, 29, she decided to get her master's. And kidding, just like 5 years ago. She was recruited actually out of the classroom to be an administrator for Morrison Elementary in Troy, Montana. And she was recruited because of all of the leadership things she had done. And everybody in the entire county knows who she is, so much so that she was given the inaugural Person of the Year award for Lincoln County last year. So everybody knows of her, but she moved on to get her master's from the University of Montana in administration or educational leadership, and has done amazing things at probably one of the poorest schools in the state of Montana. Just the things that were mentioned about Amy, breakfast programs, lunch programs, mentoring great teachers. She is truly outstanding. And unfortunately, because she is my mom, I now think every administrator should be like my mom, and nobody else is. There's so much more we could say, but our collective favorite memories of our mom in just the past 40 years, I think, have been to watch her grow, just like all of you have said, those seeds of love and of future teachers. I think we're a pretty good example. We're pretty darn good teachers. But every morning when I wake up and I think of, okay, what's going to work for kids, I always think of, what would my mom do? So we are honored and just humbled to introduce you to the greatest educator, person, and mother that we know, and that is Diane Connors Raver.
Thanks, Shelley and Nick. I'm really proud of them. And I really appreciate what you said, and I appreciate who you are and being here. And I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to Western for this honor. I'm not sure where the new nomination came from, and I'm very grateful because I know there could literally be hundreds of people on this stage receiving this honor. For 38 years, I've worked with wonderful, wonderful educators and who make a difference every day in children's lives. And my first 34 years were in the classroom. The last 4 are as principal. And one of the things I've learned as a principal is, yeah, there are different responsibilities. Yep, it's a stressful job. But there's nothing like managing a classroom all day. There's nothing like keeping kids engaged and on task all day long and coming back and doing it again the next day. So I think I feel like I just have had so much good fortune and so many wonderful opportunities that I can't even begin to tell you how much my career has meant to me. In addition to having a career of being an educator and working with amazing people, I have a wonderful family. And here's an example today. I got to quote my cousin Bob Connors. He said, education's the family business. And it really is. I tried counting on my dad's side. My dad's parents were Irish immigrants. And I tried counting just on my dad's side how many first cousins, siblings, aunts and uncles were educators. And I didn't begin to count all of those who were married to educators, and I counted 22. And that doesn't count our nieces and nephews or our children who are educators. And I have to tell you that every family gathering is like a professional development session. Some of my greatest ideas have come from those family gatherings, and God bless the people who aren't educators at those gatherings. But one thing, my Aunt Aggie's here from Helena, my Aunt Aggie Franchino, and I think one of the greatest bits of information that I ever got, or greatest tips I ever got, you always walked away from those family gatherings thinking, oh, I'm going to try this, or I'd never thought of that before. But Aggie said to me, she had just retired, and she was talking about having a rather difficult class that year, and she said that her mantra was, I don't allow people to speak to me that way. Would you like to try again? I can't tell you, Aggie, how many times I've used that line, especially as a principal. And I think it was at that same gathering, I think it was at my sister Peggy's house. Peggy's an educator in Missoula who always inspires me by her love of children and her compassion. And days when I want to just like, oh, I have the toughest class I've ever had. She describes those tough kids as little peppers. Thanks, Peggy. And it was at that same gathering where Aggie made that comment. My brother-in-law, Jack, who's here, I think that he got a little tired of the conversation because finally, after a while into the evening, he said, hey, if anybody wants to talk about the law, I'm in the next room. So here's a little bit more about my wonderful family. I knew Aggie was coming. She texted me this week, and I texted back, how did you even know about this? And she got her master's at Western, so she got the flyer. Well, I knew Nick and Shelley were coming, and then today I was a little worried about Shelley. She has a bit of lead foot. Her son had a baseball game, my grandson Connor, in Billings today, and I knew they were going to be pressed for time, and I just texted, drive so carefully. And she says, oh, we'll be fine. Kath and Dale are coming. Kath and Dale are driving. My sister Kathy and my brother-in-law Dale came from Billings, and that was a surprise. I said, oh, I didn't know they were coming. Ooh, sorry. Kathy taught special ed for years in Billings, and special ed's changed so much, and I learned so much from her. And Dale was a PE teacher in Billings, retired from the public school system, did not want to give up education, now teaches at St. Francis. And so I just think that's how our family is. I mean, with the O'Connors, the Connors, the Brennicks, and Frankinos, we just have had families who have contributed to thousands of children's lives. And I think the underlying theme with all of them is they really love kids. They really, truly love children. So I'm so thankful for that. The passion, the love, the humor have been a driving force in all our lives, and it really started with our families. And I think that it's really humbling to be recognized for this award because I know so many other people should be recognized in the same way. So one of the strongest assets, I think, of a Western education are the relationships, and you've heard that theme all night long. And so during our time at Western, during Nick's time at Western, we were supported by a lot of the same people. And there were people always looking out for us, always giving someone a hand up. Rick is still really close to many of the colleagues he played football with. They call themselves the Old Dogs, and they get together at least twice a year. And so I think that that is just really the strength of Western. I was writing down people to recognize, but the list got pretty long, and I didn't want to leave anyone out, but I see a lot of the people here who have been very instrumental in our educational lives. So our story and its relationship with Western is multi-generational. My parents met here, got married at St. Rose Church. And the kids said, I met Rick 41 years ago. Well, I didn't meet him 41 years ago today, but 41 years ago today, we borrowed Glenn Johnson's car and drove to Idaho Falls and eloped. And Rick has been an amazing inspiration to me as an educator and as a principal. I come home a lot of nights and he'll say, well, you just can't take it personally. Or this is how I would handle it. And I appreciate that so much. Shelley was born while we were at Western. We spent a lot of time in this auditorium. My favorite picture is after a chorale concert, and she's sitting on my lap at the piano. And so as we went, and she married into a wonderful educational family. She's married to Rob Stanton. So anybody that pays attention to sports in Montana, know that's another big educational clan. Nick married a wonderful Western graduate, April Lucier. So her parents are both Western graduates, and they both...
This is getting kind of creepy.
I was thinking that too. So we had such a great time coming to football games when Nick was playing. It was like a family reunion. My dad would see his friends, Rick would see his friends, and it was just a wonderful time. So my advice to all you young teachers is keep learning. Don't get sucked into negativism. Believe that what's happening in public education is not what the media talks about. There are great things going on every day. Take care of yourselves. Love the kids. Find a good mentor. And keep asking for help if you need it. So I'm really grateful to Western. I'm really grateful to my family, to Rick and Shelly and Nick for their support. And I'll end with a little song. Woo! Thanks to Mike. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. The future may be right. In fact, it's very bright. I feel as if they're polishing the sun for me. And if I had a cannon, I would fire it to add a sort of celebration touch. But since I left my cannon home, I simply have to say thank you very, very, very much.